Welcome to Storytime at the Ribus, a weekly podcast about the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. I'm your host, Sharla.
And I'm Daniel, and I think it's just the two of us, the OG podcasters, because today is Valentine's Day.
It is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day,
you
Daniel.
too. Is this our date, recording the podcast?
This is our date, recording the podcast.
Well, to be fair, we went on kind of like a road trip date yesterday.
We did. We went to Atlanta.
Yeah, that was fun. We just, we were kind of being like my grandparents. We went all the way to see something and to eat.
Yeah. Have some barbecue.
Some of my favorite barbecue. No, my favorite barbecue in the world is at the Salt Lick in Austin, Texas. Behind that is Fox Brothers in Atlanta at the Braves ballpark.
Yes.
And especially the wings, especially the barbecue wings. Those are so good.
Those are really good, yeah.
I'm going to give them a free plug. Do you have a food plug? We always do our weekly picks. Do you have a weekly pick for food?
Oh, do I have a food plug?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
All right, think about it. Think about it for a moment. We'll come back to that here in just a second.
Ooh, you caught me off guard.
Yeah, all right. But while you're thinking about that, I want to brag on you and Brooklyn. The last two episodes that we did were fantastic. And I have to reiterate that I had little to nothing to do with those. I just kind of edited after the fact, right? But the Ladies' Night episode that you guys did, I got so many notes about that. Everybody loves Celia. She was fantastic. Of course, everybody loves Chloe. She's always all right, and I just love hanging with her. But, can we brag on Brooklyn while she isn't here about how good of a job she did with that Pride episode?
She did so amazing. That episode was 100% written by her.
Yeah, she plotted all of that out. She picked the topics. She invited all of her friends over. Everybody that you heard is kind of within 20 minutes driving distance of our house here in the Huntsville area where the Rebus is parked. And she did a fantastic job. She was just here at our house 5 minutes ago. She was watching old trashy British comedies with Sharla for Valentine's Day.
It was funny because I was like, hey, maybe we should do this. And she was like, no, I've got it. And she had literally showed me she had a whole outline and everything. I mean,
yes.
She absolutely nailed that episode.
Yeah. One other thing I do have to mention is this is the second attempt at recording this, and this episode is going to be released a day or two later than it would have been. I've got to issue an apology to Joe and Brooklyn. We recorded a whole episode, and my software that I used screwed up. This is the 75th episode of Storytime with the Rebus, and that is the only time that has ever happened.
In 75 times.
In 75 episodes of our podcast. That is the only time that's happened. So thanks to Joe and Brooklyn. I'm going to have them back on. But it's Valentine's night. Charlotte and I want to do this because we actually really do enjoy doing this. This is a fun, married couple activity for us, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
So happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes. Did you think of your favorite food to pick?
Ooh.
Still working on it?
Okay. If you ever come to Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes.
If you ever come, no, let me back up. If you ever come to see Daniel and myself.
Please do, and you've got a place to crash. If you're listening to this, you're a friend of the bus, and you're welcome to crash in the bus overnight. It's parked next to our house.
There's this Texaco.
Here we go.
On the corner. And they sell tacos out of the back of this Texaco. And everybody in Huntsville knows what I'm talking about.
Mario's.
Yeah, Mario's Texaco. And it is the best tacos you will ever eat.
If you come to Huntsville, a lot of people will recommend, go to Campus 805. It's like this old schoolhouse that's been converted into a couple of breweries and restaurants. They might say go to Bandito Burrito, which is across the street from there. There's also El Cazador, which has a dozen trucks all over the place, and a bus, coincidentally enough. But no, the best is Mario's, the Texaco over there.
Well, if you look on the Huntsville Reddit, they're going to...
Yeah.
The real recommendation is Mario's Texaco.
Yes.
And that's right next to our house.
So, again, I'm not afraid to put this invitation out there. If you're listening to this, you are a friend of the bus. If you're ever in the Huntsville area, come stop by and see us. If you need a place to crash, if you're staying overnight in the Huntsville area, hit us up. We've had a couple of people do that for parties and such. You're always welcome. Charlotte had it as an Airbnb years ago, but nowadays it's basically a free Airbnb for friends.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just be warned, it gets really cold out there this time of the year. And
Eventually.
The little space heater that's inside the Rebus isn't going to do you much good this time of the year when it's 30 damn degrees, even in North Alabama, where it's the devil's butthole out here in the summertime.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like it right now.
Yes.
But yes, okay, I like the food pick. I saw Chloe was on board our Twitter Spaces a moment ago. I'm sure she liked your food pick. Chloe's been here. Chloe went to Campus 805 when she was down here.
Yes.
And she met Joseph, who was on the episode last week. He is a delight. She is a delight. All right, should we get into our regular episode
We should
stuff?
go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes.
There's a lot of local gossip.
Continuing on.
Continuing on, I wanted to give everybody some updates on things that are going on with the Wednesday party. I have had a number of people messaging me asking, like, hey, what's up? I've heard some rumors. I saw you make cryptic tweets or whatever. Yeah, you probably already know what it is, but I can't officially announce it yet. I can tell you, I'm already working on a schedule of events for our Wednesday night party. We're going to be, I don't know a really good way of putting this, so I just have to say it. We're basically headlining Bonnaroo on Wednesday. Is that fair to say?
I don't know. What if Bonnaroo's got something up their sleeve?
Well, yeah, I would cede it to them, but we are going to have a lot of things going on. So I'm doing something fun. So, I have been doing my thing as DJ Catlow for a year or two now. So I have it in my heart to help out all of these campground DJs like myself. It was a bit of a tongue twister. So I'm going to have a lot of guys take about 20 minutes at a time, just play some of their best mixes, see what they got. After that, we're going to have Get Weird and DJ Catlow play for a little bit. And then is the stuff that we can't announce yet, but I think we should be able to very soon.
I'm very excited about Get Weird.
Oh, yeah, I love those
They are
guys.
so amazing.
We talked about them last week. Their ear has probably been burning lately because they were on top of the Big Red Beetle for the Pride Parade, right?
Right.
And I didn't even know that until after the fact.
Well,
They told me
yeah.
later, because we were partying inside the barn.
And they're just so awesome and friendly. I mean, they're such good people.
Yes. I highly recommend them if you're looking for somebody to book as a great DJ. They're really a duo, kind of like Odessa or Disclosure.
They're just overall, just good people.
Oh, yeah. Perfect representation of Ruvians.
Exactly. They're the
Yeah.
perfect, if you're looking for somebody that represents, or a band or a DJ or whatever that represents Rue, Get Weird for sure. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people. They're one of the best. There's also, DJ Snow. We've had him on an episode in the past. Good dude. We've had a lot come to our mini Rue out there just outside of our secret spot in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. And for those in the know, I think we are going to do that again sometime soon. But yeah, getting back to our Wednesday night shindig, we are also, lastly, going to have Mitchell doing his late night show. Usually at Rue, when you think late night show, you think somebody playing in the 10 at 3 a.m. This is a little different. This is late night show in terms of Conan O'Brien or Stephen Colbert. More accurately for Mitchell, it's kind of like Eric Andre on his Adult Swim show. So it's going to be preposterous and ridiculous in only the way Mitchell can miraculously be. Are you looking forward to that?
I'm very much looking forward to Mitchell.
I'm both looking forward to it and afraid of it.
I'm looking forward to my morning Mitchell. My morning Mitchell?
Yeah. I cannot say any more than this, but Mitchell has potentially booked a guest that has blown my mind. I can't even believe that there's a possibility this might happen.
I mean, who knows, but...
That's all I'm going to say.
Let's hope.
That's all I'm going to say. But anyways, Wednesday night party, so please come in. VIPs can come in early this year.
Yes,
people in the VIP campground, they didn't used to be able to come to the Rubus Wednesday night party. Now you can. I want to hope that we had some sway in that decision.
I seriously hope so. I've seen that VIPs can come in on Wednesday now, so now there is no excuse.
Yeah, be there. That is a place to be on Wednesday at Bonnaroo when we finally get back. Sharla, I have a new... How are you? I have a new segment for the podcast that we're going to start.
A new segment?
Yeah. We're 75 episodes in or whatever, and I finally got something new.
A new segment?
Yes. So we're going to do something new called the Rue Community Corkboard. So, back in the day, you'd go to the grocery store or whatever, or some community center, and you'd see a corkboard where it says,
and everybody had their little flyers up?
Yeah. It's like yard sale, guitar lessons.
Yeah.
All different things.
And you would take one?
Yeah. Before the internet... before we had supercomputers in our pocket, that's how you would find out what's going on in your community. You would see something at a corkboard. Maybe at the first floor of your dorm when you were in college.
Okay, so what is this on the podcast? What are you referring to?
All right, so I wanted to do a podcast version of this. So we got a friend of a friend to message us this past week about someone that is needing help for their trip to Okeechobee.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking, I will help them out, but I want to make this a continual segment. So if somebody has a similar situation or whatever, message the Rubus. We'll put it on the podcast.
That'd be cool, yeah.
And here's the example. Here's the person that we're trying to help out. Our friend of a friend, Sarah, is flying into the Orlando airport, and she is looking for another festival-going lady to split cost with. She wants to... split the cost of renting a car from Orlando to Okeechobee. and then hopefully they will be new BFFs, and they will camp together at Okeechobee.
That'd be cool.
And now they're like festy besties. That two women be able to go to like Bonnaroo or Okeechobee or whatever it may be, so they can have a great time, split the costs.
That'd be cool.
So Sarah's looking for someone that she can split costs with, and Okeechobee is coming up quick. Trust me, I know. I'll talk about that in a second. So what we will do, if you are a woman that is looking to have a new buddy at Okeechobee, split costs with, and be new friends with, message the bus, and we will connect you with Sarah. So
That's
we're going to be the intermediary here, right? So to speak. And that's what I'm talking about. That is what our new Rue Community Court Board is going to be for. If you are in a situation like that where you are just looking for someone in the community to make something happen with, well, we will be, maybe wingman is the wrong word on Valentine's Day. What's a better way of putting it? We're the go-between. We will help make this happen. With great power comes great responsibility, so we want to help you out, right?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
For ladies who are traveling, looking for other festival goers, there's a travel BFF group just for festivals.
Really? Where?
On Facebook. Yes.
I did not know about this.
Yes.
Tell about it.
Well, I know there's a main group that's it's called Travel BFF, Let's Travel Together. And they've just created one that's just for festivals. And it's literally women traveling to festivals with other women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. How did that not come up during y'all's Ladies Night episode? That's a good resource.
Because they just started.
It just started.
One. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's clever.
Yes.
Do you know of any other places like that I don't know about? I know there is. What is that app that's kind of like
Radiate?
Yes. I didn't even have to give you the stupid metaphor. Radiate. That's another place where you can connect with people for things like that. Is it still popular? I haven't used it in years.
I think it is, but I haven't used it in a long time.
Yeah, I can see why they would have lost interest because there wasn't festivals for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, Radiate. That isn't. I'm not being paid to say that. They're a great little company, great little app business. I love what they're doing. It's not necessarily. It's Valentine's. It's not necessarily a hookup app.
I don't. Well.
Yeah. Well, that's their problem.
I don't know because. I don't want to say too much about it because I haven't been on there in so long, so I don't know what it is now.
Well, I remember the last time we were at Bonnaroo, I was kind of fooling around on it, looking, just seeing who else was going, see if there was anybody I knew, or if there was anything non-Bonnaroo being planned in the campgrounds or whatever. And it was pretty cool. There was a lot of people using it, and a lot of people were like putting groups together. Like planning flash mobs, even. You remember when flash mobs was a thing? Is it still a thing?
I don't know.
Maybe it's called something different.
It's been so many years since we've been to Bonnaroo.
Yeah, let's not talk about that because it's going to happen this year.
Let's not.
Yeah, we're only positive thoughts here. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Charlotte. After the break, we're going to talk a little bit about going back to festivals, and we got to talk to our Patreons a little bit and some other fun stuff. Sound good?
Okay. Awesome.
Hey, Charlotte, we're back.
Yes.
And I have picked up a friend from Twitter Spaces that's going to join us for a moment. Who do we have on the line there? Who is that?
This is Jay.
Hey, Jay. How are you doing?
What's up? I'm great.
Okay, so explain what's happening at your house right now. You told me just a moment ago.
Oh my gosh. If you hear a commotion, I'm trying to bathe my youngest child. we're in the middle of nighttime routine, so if you hear any water running, he's in the bathtub. So
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Oh, bless you. You are a wonderful mom. That is totally understandable. Hey, I wanted to have you on because I wanted to hear from some other people. Have you found any new acts on the lineup that you have come to enjoy in the past week or so?
I have been listening to so much Suicide Boys. I don't know why I have never listened to them before, but I've gotten really into them. And then also I'm really excited to see Churches, so I've been listening, kind of brushing up on all of their albums. And my husband, who's going with me this year, he's been really into Briston Maroney. He's been listening to him quite a bit.
Oh, yes.
So that's what we've been kind of into here lately.
Okay. I saw. What are the kids into? What are they listening to?
Oh gosh, my oldest, she's kind of found her own kind of little niche. She really likes Doja Cat.
Oh, yes.
She likes Harry Styles. So she's kind of discovering what she's into right now. So every once in a while, she'll kind of bring me a new band, and she's like, "Have you ever listened to this person?" So it's kind of cool to get input back from your kids too.
Yeah, see, You'll never be out of touch now because you're going to always have somebody of the younger generation to tell you what's cool.
Exactly. I don't plan to be out of touch anyway.
Yeah, good point. Yes.
Right,
Well, thank you, Jay. Good to hear from you.
thank you guys.
I think we're going to go to Chloe next. Of course, she's no stranger to any of us. She is coming on. Chloe, what have you been listening to lately? What's new on the lineup you found? I know you always got some good stuff.
Oh, hey guys. Yeah, I've been really into 100. You guys heard of her? She's literally the last name on the poster.
Now, wait. Say it again. Twitter cut you out for a second.
Oh no, 100 Drums.
Yes! Oh, girl, I have been all about them. They've been one of my favorite finds in the past couple
She's
weeks.
so cool. She's so cool.
So, I didn't know it... Okay, I had been listening, and I knew it was kind of like low-key EDM, but I didn't realize it was a woman. Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah, I think it's just one woman. And she's dope. Like, that's not usually a style I'm like gravitating towards, but there's something so like rhythmic and like soothing about that hard bass drum. Oh my god, I've been so into it.
Okay, I am being educated now. I gotta like look up their biography and everything. I gotta understand this better before I see it. Yeah, I think 100 Drums is going to be at Okeechobee, so I will report back.
Oh, please do. I have high hopes for her. Like everything I've seen of her like live stuff looks like it's going to be really cool.
Yes. Anything else? What else has been going on in your world?
Oh man, not much. I'm trying to get back on that Rue Fitness lifestyle.
Uh-oh.
So I know, gotta get them steps in, you know?
Oh, wait. I want your advice on something. So, Brooklyn and I have a group chat with Mitchell because the three of us are going to Okeechobee together. And Mitchell is trying to talk me into going back and doing the 5K at Bonnaroo. Am I stupid if I'm doing that? I don't know.
I so rarely run by choice, so I'm not sure if I'm the right person to talk to. But people that run that are a different breed, and I'm constantly impressed by them.
Yes.
Well, we made like a joke tweet about that because I've talked to so many people that will rage all night, not go to bed, and then do the 5K. And I put in like that Anakin Skywalker meme is like, you underestimate my power. Like, or no, it was like, is it possible to learn this power? Some episode 3 meme or whatever. Because it's ridiculous. I don't know how people do that.
It's incredible. There's like a Rue friend I made on here like years ago named Courtney, who does a ton of like, she does just like a casual half marathon on a Saturday. She's amazing. But I think she's been doing the Rue run for like quite a while now. And she's just like, yeah, it's a thing I wake up and do, no big deal. I'm like, how are you, my friend? You're the coolest person ever. Like, it's amazing. So full support if you do it. Full support.
I'm thinking about it, only because it would be like a good goal to work towards to really get me in shape. So, like, I think I might do it, but even if I don't, I'll be in good shape having trained for it.
Exactly. And, like, worst comes to worst, if you, like, sign up for it and for some reason can't make it.
You still get the t-shirt.
You still, like, yeah, you still get the t-shirt and you still work toward it. It's a win-win.
Ooh, this is a good point. So, yes, I think I will sign up. Hey, and maybe I should just hold it to you. Maybe you should sign up with that same logic.
I love your enthusiasm.
All right, I won't press you about it. All right, thank you, Chloe. Good to hear from you.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, it was coincidental that we heard from them because the two of those ladies are two of our Patreons, right, Charlotte?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Why don't we run through everyone's names and then we can go through the whole song and dance about what the Patreon is all about. You want to list everybody off?
Okay, I'll go for it. And again, as I always say, apologies if I mispronounce someone's name.
We're trying.
I'm definitely trying. I feel like people message me their names or how to pronounce their names, and I still somehow manage to mispronounce their names.
Well, try your best. Let's go for it.
Okay. John Howard.
That's an easy one.
Captain Dan. Lucy Young. Benjamin Wells. Ross McNamara. Kent Summers. Michael Roberts. Randy C. Joshua Winsel. Babs Baker. Madison Hadzico. Scott Hurst. Greg Bosco. Eric and Ben Abel. Kristen Straub. Beyond the Hypnotic, that's Jace. Evan Brown. Jay Sanders. Chloe Hannon.
That's funny. They're right together. We spoke to them both, and they're together on the list.
Sean McCarthy.
And that's it.
That is it for this week.
Thank you so much, everybody. To go through it really quickly again, 80% of everything goes to the Bonnaroo Works Fund. The remaining 20% will go to fund some fun stuff at the Wednesday night party. And those of you that are Patreons, I think probably next week we will have our next little mini party planning call. I keep thinking of it in terms of like the party planning committee
on
the
office. Yeah, the PPC.
We are far less cutthroat political than they are with the PPC.
A little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, we actually had a great call with them about a month ago, and we did some fun introductions and played a little game. And I think we will get more to fun business this coming time now that some things are falling into place. I gave everybody some homework and think about, like, what do you want to do with that couple $100 that we'll have for the party. But anyway, yes, again, it is patreon.com/Rubus if you want to learn more about that. There are 2 tiers. You can learn about it there. Anything else on that, Cheryl?
I think we're going to be able to donate around $1,000 by the time that
I think so. Our
Bonnaroo
Patreon
rolls around.
Our Patreon list keeps growing, so I think that is
that's the goal.
It's a goal. It's a goal. I was going to say it's a fair estimate, but it's also a great goal.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. I did want to go into an Okeechobee thing because I had kind of an announcement, a little bit, not really an announcement, more of like an idea. I had been talking with Mitch and Brooklyn, so it's going to be the trio of us. Sharla, you're not able to go with us.
No, I have to work.
Yeah, Charlotte just started her new job, so you're saving up your off days.
Yes, for
right,
Bonnaroo.
So, yeah, and probably you want to get me out of the house too, right? Do I bug you too much?
No.
No?
Not too bad.
Not too bad, just a little bit. But yeah, so myself and Brooklyn and Mitchell, our good buddy from Atlanta, who helps run Camp Bonnaroo, will be there, and we want to put together kind of a Bonnaroo meetup. We're going to do it Saturday around lunchtime. Not doing it Friday because Tame Impala is playing on Friday, so you know what I'm going to be doing. I will say no more there. But Saturday at lunchtime, wherever we are camped, we are going to host a little meetup. Just want to see everybody, see what y'all are up to. Maybe we can pre-plan some parties at Okeechobee. So one of us will have access to the internet, presumably, or we can find a Wi-Fi. So we will give you an idea of our location, and then noon on Saturday at Okeechobee. I look forward to seeing whoever else is there. I've seen a lot of people on the Rubus social media timelines that are planning on going because basically Okeechobee is the kickoff to festival season
it really
22.
Is,
yeah. And it man, I can't tell you how nice it is to be able to plan actually going back to a festival.
Was Okie the last festival in 2020 before festivals shut down?
Yes, and it's so funny because the previous year, I think they didn't get to have an Okie 2019, if I'm correct. I am quickly Googling that. Do you remember that? I remember that they had to call it off for like financial reasons or something like that. But I think there wasn't one in 2019, or they had to skip one year. But yes, some other historian that knows better than us will know the answer to that. But you are correct that it was the last one before everything started shutting down in 2020. I just pulled up the poster. It was on March 5th to 8th, 2020. They had Rufus Du Sol playing on Thursday. Who shall not be named any further. Bates Nectar playing on the 6th. And then Vampire Weekend headlined that Saturday. And then Mumford & Sons on Sunday. And it's kind of funny because they have kind of low-key pivoted a little bit. It's not so much like a all-inclusive, all-genre festival like Bonnaroo is anymore. Now it's a little bit more leaning towards being what like Electric Forest is, being like a lot of different types of like EDM, but with some actual guitar bands sprinkled in there. Did you notice that?
I did, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few. Like, of course, I'm excited to see Tame, and Brooklyn is excited to see the Backseat Lovers. It's been one of her favorite finds for the past couple of years. But other than that, it's not a lot, especially compared to this 2020 lineup that I pulled up. Because, like I said, Vampire Weekend, some others are Blood Orange, St. Paul and the Broken Bones. They were everywhere that year. Glass Animals was there. Coincidentally enough, I'm just now realizing this. On Sunday of Okie 2020, on the third line is Machine Gun Kelly.
Wow.
I did not realize that.
Wow.
It is continually a point of conversation this year, it seems. But yes, again, Saturday of Okeechobee, around lunchtime, around noon clock. Look forward to seeing everybody that can make it out. Charla.
Yes.
Should we start with you for your weekly artist find?
For my weekly artist find?
Yeah, who
I'm
are
ready.
you liking on the lineup that's new, on the Bonnaroo lineup?
On the Bonnaroo lineup.
Yes.
I have a different find that we haven't mentioned before.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, so I actually found this girl because she was one of the artist pick the artist of the day on Reddit. Sierra Farrell. She sings kind of, I hesitate to use this phrase, but she sings rather old-timey, quote-unquote, country music. She has Loretta Lynn type vibes.
Oh, yes. You played some of her in the car the other day.
Right. She's from West Virginia, I believe, and she does have a song with Billy Strings. So I'm hoping that he will bring her out.
Well, surely that's going to happen.
Yeah, I believe that'll happen. But very, like I said, Loretta Lynn type vibes. I mean, just very almost soulful type music. She's a bluegrass artist. I mean, just really, really, really easy listening type vibes. Really like her a lot.
Wow. Her Wikipedia article describes her in a very interesting way. It says her music incorporates elements of country, gypsy jazz, folk, and Latin. Well, I wouldn't think it would be possible that anybody could combine all that.
Well, I did notice, like, I was going to say Tex-Mex almost in some of her songs.
Very Austin?
No, not really that. But
San Antonio.
Yeah, a little bit of that. But then she's from West Virginia, so I didn't want to say Tex-Mex, but that really is incorporated into some of her songs a little bit.
I have a side question for
you.
Does region even matter anymore when it comes to like genre of music when we're all so interconnected over like every kind of app and
no.
We all have like such better internet than we did 20 years ago?
Right, you're right. No.
Like back in the day, like in 50 years ago, then yeah, maybe there was like kind of region specific genres. But nowadays, when everybody's like so connected all the time by the supercomputer in your pocket, that just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, that just popped in my head. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right.
But anyway, Sierra Farrell.
Where
would you recommend anybody start? You got a couple of song picks?
So I would start with her song "The Sea." Would be what I would start with.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Did you play that for us last night when we were on our drive home? I seem to recall that. Yes. Mm-hmm. In that case, yes. I dig her music. That would be really cool to see her come out with Billy Strings as well.
But that's definitely how I found her, was on the Reddit. They do the Artist of the Day. There's a guy on there that does Artist of the Day on Reddit, and that's how I found her.
Okay. I will listen more. And that's a good recommendation, Charles. Mm-hmm. Mine was just stolen by Chloe a few moments ago. I had this written down. I swear. She's reading my mind. It's 100 Drums. We already talked about them, and it is different than much of anything I have heard before. It's super interesting. It's kind of like deep vibe music. Anyway, we spoke a lot about it already. Just check it out for yourself. I'm looking forward to seeing them at Bonnaroo. And I do believe that they will be at Okie. So I will report back here in a month and let you know what I think. In fact, Brooklyn and I were talking about this the other day. There is a handful of artists that are at both Okie and Rue, so we will try to report on as many as we can that will also be at Rue and tell you what to expect. Sound good?
Yes.
I mean, you'll want to know, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Daniel, do you want to move on to our picks of the week?
Yeah, so not our act pick that's going to be at Bonnaroo, but something else that we've enjoyed this past week.
So what we've been reading, listening to, watching, etc.
Eating.
We
did that at the beginning, but yes. Why don't you start? What do you got for us?
Okay, so Brooklyn and I have been really, really into a 1970s, 80s British show.
Here we go.
A Britcom that I actually grew up watching with my grandfather. It's called Are You Being Served? And you can actually watch it on BritBox, I think it's the name of the app, on Roku. And you have to be, in order to watch this show, you cannot be an easily offended person, because please keep in mind that it is a very dated show.
I can't believe they put this stuff on the BBC in like the 70s and 80s, because it's like raunchy.
Yes, it is very, 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 it's out there. There's some, how should I say this?
I don't even want to repeat some of the stuff on there because it's like not exactly politically correct anymore.
Right. There's a lot of non-PC stuff in there. But so if you're not an easily offended person, you will think that this show is hilarious. I'll just say that.
It is.
But I did grow up watching the show with my granddad, and oh my gosh, it's one of my all-time favorite shows, probably.
So I don't know how other like public television stations in other areas and other states did this like back in the 90s. I mean, Sharla and I are like kids in the 90s. Sorry, we're a little bit older than most of the Bonnaroo crowd these days. But like back in my day, I would watch that on the same Alabama public TV station that you did.
Right.
And maybe a little bit before that, they played like a lot of like 80s BBC stuff. So I got to grow up on like old reruns of like Monty Python and like early Doctor Who before they like rebooted it in the early 2000s. And like that was kind of cool to be able to have that like kind of cultural connection outside of my own bubble when I was a kid,
right.
you know?
Right. Well, I grew up watching all the like 80s Britcoms and early 90s Britcoms.
Yeah.
And it was cool because when I actually went to London as an adult, I knew, went to a pub and I actually knew trivia questions.
She knew the answers to trivia questions that these like college-age British kids didn't even know.
Yeah.
In the middle of London.
Yeah.
Like literally next door to like the Harry Potter train station at King's Cross.
But definitely, if you get BritBox or subscribe to BritBox, if you want some old British humor and you're not an easily offended person, definitely check that out.
Yeah.
I hope I don't get in trouble for saying
No,
that.
I don't think so. Well, speaking of which, my pick for this week is something that's like borderline offensive as well. You and I have been watching the new Pam and Tommy show on Hulu.
Oh,
yes,
I forgot. That was going to be my pick.
Well, this is for both of us. Listen, I'm just going to preface this by saying it is trashy, it is graphic, and maybe it shouldn't even exist because Pamela Anderson herself did not authorize this. I mean, Tommy Lee probably don't care, but she does not care for it. And I feel like that's something that has to be noted. But those factors aside, oh my gosh, it is such an entertaining show. Like, it is, especially, okay, let's put it this way. This is a music podcast. You know, we're the people that drive, a bus that goes to Bonnaroo. That's kind of a tradition there. So this is a very musically based look at the history of something infamous that happened in like the mid-90s. I think it was like 95, 96 when that happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-90s, yeah.
Tommy Lee was in Motley Crue. They were mostly popular in the 80s, so he's still a big rock star. He has a mansion that he lives at, and he still records and does the whole old school version of a rock star, which isn't really the thing anymore. And if somebody does it, they're just kind of seen as kind of cheesy or whatever. But it's kind of fun living in that world in the mid-90s where that wasn't seen as cheesy, where he can be like an over-the-top like addict, and it's like still kind of politically correct in a way.
So here's the thing about this show. It's a really entertaining show.
Yeah.
But part of me does feel a little bit bad for watching it.
Yeah,
almost.
I know. I mean,
because she, in real life, Pamela Anderson is like, from what I've read, hasn't really said anything about this show because she feels very victimized by the burglary that took place, of course. So I do feel bad for watching the show almost. But on the other hand, like, it's a very, like, noteworthy show. I mean, that was of our generation, of mine and Daniel's generation, I mean, that was a very newsworthy event. I mean, as much as I hate to say it.
Now, that show does go a long way to make her more multifaceted.
Absolutely.
So, like, listen, I will tell you, as a young kid in the 90s, sure, I just knew Baywatch and that existed.
I think that's all we knew.
Yeah, Playboy and stuff like that. But now watching this, I'm realizing, like, oh, she actually wanted to be, like, a very good actress,
right.
And she probably was, but she just wasn't given the chance.
And, like, I mean, I had no idea, like, all the activism work that she did. And I actually, like, looked at, after watching, like, a couple episodes, I mean, I looked it up and just all the activism stuff that she did and all the serious acting that she wanted to do and all this. Yeah. And so it does go out of the way to show you, all that in the show.
Yeah, and it does go out of the way to show that, like, she very much was victimized and wasn't given kind of the respect that she should have been given as a woman, But still, I do respect the fact that she was like, she doesn't want to watch this. Didn't exist. So I'm looking at it as an entertainment product and not necessarily like, oh, this is not anything like any kind of documentary or anything like that. But just Sebastian Stan, who like most people know is like Winter Soldier from the Marvel movies. He is so good. He is so good. Like the way that he carries himself. I don't know Tommy Lee very well. I never cared about Motley Crue or never paid attention to him. But like it's just so funny to see like a very 90s like over the top dude like that,
Mm-hmm.
And like, I can't remember the actress's name that plays Pamela in that, but she's so
Lily
good too.
James.
Yes, she looks just like her. It's insane.
She does.
It's
wild.
insane. I can't believe it. But anyways, yes, I have been enjoying the heck out of that show. If you can stomach a little bit of political incorrectness with that as well, oh my gosh, it's kind of like tabloid stuff, but it's still really fun, I suppose.
Okay, Daniel, looks like we have some Instagram questions this week.
Yes, so when I originally recorded this episode with Brooklyn and Joe, and again, apologies to them, we put a thing on Instagram stories asking if anyone had any rude questions that we could help out with. And we got quite a few, and I didn't want to ignore them. I want to make sure that we got those questions in. So can you help me with these?
Sure.
Why don't you start with the first one? It's from a friend that we know.
Okay, Celia wants to know the best tips and tricks for RV camping.
Yeah, and I think I know why she's asking. I think she's bringing one in with some friends for the first time. There's going to be a lot of people doing that for the first time this year, I bet.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So what would your tips and tricks be for her?
Okay, so there's two different power options that you can get. You can do the plug-in on the grid, and that can get pretty expensive. Those run from like, I don't know the exact cost, but it's like $500, $600, $700 extra.
It's more than I wanted to pony up.
Right. We usually do the primitive, which is where you bring in your own generator. And if you bring in your own generator, make sure that it's under 4,000 like watts, kilowatts, whatever.
It is.
Yeah, I just know 4,000. We learned our lesson the hard way on that.
21 gigawatts.
And just make sure that your generator is not pointed at anyone's tent or anything like that for carbon monoxide reasonings. Make sure if you're in RV, something that you want to do is get out and meet your neighbors.
Oh, yes. Bring little gifts to give them when you meet them.
Definitely. That's something when we went from a tent to an RV, immediately we noticed people in RV, it really depends on where you're parked, of course, but people in RV sometimes tend to stay in their RV and don't really get out and socialize like people in tent do.
I will say that the vibe has changed a little bit in recent years, honestly.
Right.
When we first did RV, like, everybody kind of kept to themselves.
Right.
But I don't know. It's like the vibe has changed a little bit, and people tend to party a little bit more now.
Well, I think that's people are approaching us because we have the bus.
Oh.
It's what you're noticing.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay.
But make it a point. Just make it a point to get out and meet your neighbors and socialize with them. Because I think it just depends on where you're parked and who your neighbors are, but I would make it a point to meet your neighbors, definitely.
Something else that I'll tell you is they give you a lot of space.
Yes.
Because they don't know if you're going to be coming in a Class C RV, which is one of the little ones, or if you're going to be coming in with a monster one, like Lindsay's dad has,
right.
you know. So you get a lot of space. So be thinking of what you can use that for. You can put out a couple of canopies. Maybe you can have something that everybody can participate in, like literally like that meme from Step Brothers. There's so much more room for activities.
Right.
Yeah. So just be thinking about that. All right. Next one is from Sweens. He wants to know, funniest question you were ever asked on the farm?
Oh my goodness.
You got one?
No. Do you have one? I would have to think about that.
Well, the funny thing is when I'm asked the funny questions, I'm in a state where I'm not going to remember the funny questions. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Okay, we're going to go into, like, some murky territory with this. But, so, when I'm in Cinderoo most days, I go around with my Ricky the Cat totem. It's a picture of my dearly beloved departed cat, the first Ricky. We're up to the third Ricky now. And somebody came up to me one time and asked if I had ketamine because I had the cat. And I'm like, what? No.
That hasn't just happened once. That's happened like multiple times.
No, it's just a picture of my cat. I think it's funny. No, that's not a thing. Okay, that's probably the funniest, I suppose.
And like, some people don't even ask if it's like party favors. Some people think that like we're advertising like a for real company.
No, I'm just
like a legitimate.
It's just a funny picture of my cat. That's
we're like a legitimate Bonnaroo vendor, and I'm like,
no.
It's just a cat.
No. Also, I will say, no, don't do that. No, that stuff is terrible. I can't.
No, I got the funniest question.
What?
But if you've been listening to this podcast long enough, can I plug in here?
Oh, gosh. Well, you just told that story recently. That's just a good callback. Okay. Yeah, that counts. That's good. Chloe wants to know, what set this year do you think is going to take people by surprise?
Ooh.
I've got one. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Tool.
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people
right,
have listened to Tool a lot,
right.
So I think it's going to be a situation kind of like a couple of years ago when everybody went in to go see Muse. a lot of people were very pleasantly surprised with how good that Muse show was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a lot of Ruvians that have listened a lot to Tool, so I think they're going to have their faces melted with surprise when they go see
You're
them.
right.
Yeah. Can you think of anybody?
I think you're right on with the Tool one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you're dead on with that. Okay, so Mitchell asked, what's the weirdest show you ever attended at Rue?
I have another good one.
Okay, you go.
Okay. You need to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Mitchell was at this show. It was D. Antwood.
Oh!
Hey, I'm
Does
pretty sure.
Count? Does that even count?
Well, I don't know how you could not mention that. I think he was in the middle of all that. It was like a walk by show for me. I just stayed for like 3 or 4 songs, but like after about 15 minutes of that, I was just like, y'all need Jesus.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I have never seen so much insanity at any show at Bonnaroo before or since. Like such a and I say this lovingly, but such a collection of weirdos at that show too. Like it was wild. You got one? What's the weirdest one you've been to?
I mean, okay, so everybody in my whole group went to bed.
Yeah.
And y'all ever seen that meme with Bill Murray when he comes back from like...
Yeah. He's got on like some kind of like Renaissance suit where he's at an award show or something.
Yeah, I was at Calliope.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of naked people dancing on
Oh.
Big Red.
Oh, good for them. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's
what I got.
That was when they had Calliope, and it was like between what is now the other. It was the other 10 at the time. It was like where the food trucks are now. And there was, look, y'all, there was some weird shit there back in the day. Like I miss it.
That's what we need.
Maybe we don't have Calliope, but can we please bring back the weird stuff like that?
Yeah, can we just get the weird stuff back?
Yeah. All right, next up, Talk Rue Much wants to know, how do I get in the pit? This is a common question. This is good.
That's a very good question, yeah.
All right, so there's 2 different kinds. There's the what and the which. Which one of those should we start with? Because there's some slight differences between the 2.
The which?
The which. All right. So if you want to get in the pit for the which, what you do is look at those food vendors that are lined up against the fence on, like, let me think about this, on stage right. So your left, stage right. There's a giant line of food vendors. And if you go down that gravel road towards where, like, this little VIP/artist entrance is, that's where the line for that pit should start. Now, that said, any show before sunset, you're going to be able to probably walk into the pit. The last act to play on which, and then the headliner late night, might be a little bit more tricky. You might have to wait. If there are multiple lines, and this will apply to what too, go ask the guys in the security shirts, like, hey, which line is which? Where do I need to go if I want to make sure I go in for this show? And that's kind of half of their job. They'll let you know. And also the crowd will let you know as well. Does that sound about right for which?
Yeah.
Tell them real quick the story about like how the line collapsed upon itself when we were trying to get in the pit for the Lumineers back in 2013.
So this is my first year of Bonnaroo, so I didn't know entirely what I was doing. So I got in line for the pit at which, and basically the line just broke apart at the corner of the line.
Yeah, there was that guy and that girls that were like basically trying to jump the line. So that's something that I will warn you about. Rue is a loving place. Everybody's there for one another, but like 1% of the people there will be jackasses and try to break. So when it gets in that like crucial time, when it's like 5 or 10 minutes before they let you into the pit, kind of stand your ground a little bit and just like watch out for those people and watch out for the people that are just there to have a good time and not be that guy or that girl. So
don't be that guy or that girl, but pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're just sitting there waiting for everybody to get up, might not be the best plan. So, like, right when the act before is finishing up, that's when to start, putting out your antenna and pay attention to what's happening around you. Just make sure that you're able to get in. I'll give you a quick example as we kind of transition over to the pit at the what stage. I had that happen. I was trying to get in the pit for Odessa, and it kind of got mishmashed with the line of people that were trying to get in the pit for Post Malone after Odessa got done. And as soon as the line for Odessa started filing in, the Post Malone people started bum rushing the line, and I got squeezed out and I couldn't get in, which I still got a good spot. I was like behind the rail for the, not the rail right in front of the stage, but the rail that separates like the regular crowd from the pit. Mm-hmm. I was close enough, but still I was a little bummed out that happened. So that can happen. especially when it gets like late at night at what? The what pit line operates basically the same. So if you go on stage right, your left, you'll be able to see the line. And for the big headliners, there will be a line that will stretch pretty far back. But remember, the pit area, especially for what, is massive. So it will hold more people than you think that it does. Somebody told us one time how many it can hold. Do you remember? It was more than a couple of hundred.
Yeah, it was like 1,500 or something.
Really? Was it that much? It was a lot.
It was like a lot of people.
Whatever the figure officially was, I was surprised that it could be that many people. Now, sometimes it will be less because that one year U2 had that little stage extension, and that took away a good bit of the space. I think when Gambino had his little riser out there, they had to like shorten it a little bit. So sometimes if you see somebody has like some sort of production, then yeah, it's possible that the area for the what stage pit could be a little bit smaller. So you might have to keep an eye out.
Also, don't quote us on that number. That could be wrong.
Yeah, we're trying to remember, but I remember that I was surprised with how big the figure was, but I don't remember exactly how big the figure was.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it's more than I expected for sure. Now, my general rule of thumb, if you want to get in the pit for a headliner on the what stage, which you should do at some point because it is fun. It is awesome knowing that you're there for like one of the top 3 headliners of Rue and you're like right there in the thick of it where like the whole stage takes up your whole field of view. It's like being in another dimension. It's so fun. I totally recommend doing it at least once. But if you want to, try to go get in line about 4 or 5 o'clock to guarantee that you're going to get in. So let's say this year you want to get in the pit for Stevie. A lot of other people are going to want to do that. I would recommend getting in line to get in the Stevie Nicks pit line probably about 3-4 o'clock.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it will be pretty thick. Now, when you get there and you see that line forming, it'll be around the sound booth that I would start to be a little concerned about the cutoff. If you get in before the line backs up to where that big sound booth area is, like directly behind the pit, then it might be a little bit questionable because especially towards the front, there's going to be groups of like 5, 6, 7 people that are just taking up one space. The line will get wider as it gets longer, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So just a good rule of thumb. Just be prepared if you want to get in the pit for a big headliner. It'll probably be the same for somebody like Flume, I would imagine. You know, a lot of rail kids. Something else that I will mention, I kind of think, and I feel like you're going to back me up on this, the back of the pit is one of the best places to be.
I feel like every time I've been in the very far back of the pit, there's like a little bit of space back there.
Yeah, again, more space for activities.
More space for activities.
Yeah, because like, okay, it is fun to get on the rail for one of your favorite artists.
Right.
But you will be smushed up, and the level of enjoyment will be like kind of drop down a little bit because you feel like you have to fight to keep a hand on the rail, and there's somebody like mashing up on you from behind. But if you go to the back of the pit, you're still super close, but you can still dance around and stuff a lot.
Exactly.
It's always a little bit more empty back there. So sometimes if I'm not towards the front of a pit line, I will be like, okay, I know where I'm headed. I'm going to the center of the back. I have a great view. I'm like right in the middle of the stage so I can see whatever visuals that they have, but also I have room to dance around and mosey around and meet friends, you know, just as if I was in the back of the what field.
Exactly.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, and Carly wants to know, what's the best way to rally for late night sets?
Ooh, boy. Yeah, this is something I've been starting to think about.
Yeah.
All right, so she's probably talking about like stuff 2, 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
I have spoken about this before. I think I was telling Eric and Ben when they were here last time. I have a problem. I usually start crashing about 1:30. I don't want to, but like my body just starts shutting down.
Same.
I try to train myself in the month or 2 ahead of Bonnaroo. Like I try to get a lot of sleep. I drink a lot of water. I take my vitamins. Like a lot of things just to like as if I was going to run a marathon because you basically are if you're going to stay up all night at Bonnaroo. For me personally, I pick a late night. Either Friday or Saturday night, I'm like, okay, I'm going hard. I'm going all night this night when most of my favorite artists are playing. And then the next night, I know I'm going to crash, so I don't feel bad about it. But that's just me. I'll probably get a Red Bull or 2 to really push myself along. But if I pick one, I'm good. If I try to do both, I couldn't do it. What about you, Sharla? How do you stay up all night?
Man, I just go for it.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I know it's the only time of the year I can do it, so I just push myself to do it.
Well,
And then when I get home on Monday, I'd die.
I realized that I couldn't really do it anymore when U2 played that year because Portugal the Man was playing in the tent after U2 finished. And it was about like 1:30 in the morning. I think it was on that Saturday night, I believe, if I remember right. But anyway, I was just like starting to crash a little bit, and I couldn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. And I that was when I realized then, okay, I have to start picking a late night. But that's just that's Daniel's kind of way of doing it. Everybody else is going to have a different way.
I never go hard on the first nights of Bonnaroo. So like, I never go hard on Wednesday night. I never go hard on Thursday night. And Friday and Saturday nights are the nights I go hard on. But I never, ever, ever, like, Bonnaroo is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I know it's going to be very tempting to go hard on Thursday night because it's going to be the first night that we'll be back in so long, and that we'll be back in Central for the first time on Thursday. And there are good acts playing on Thursday. Closey is probably going to be playing pretty late night. I'm definitely going to go see Closey, even if she starts at like 12:31. But I'm going to take it easy. I'm not going to be like jumping around like a madman like I will be the next two nights,
Right, exactly.
I might take a little nap in the back at some point, like 11 o'clock or something like that.
Right, like a nap, that's a very good point, too. I see so many people napping, and I do that, too. Naps will extremely help. I mean, even if you have to take a nap at 8 o'clock at night and then get up.
Yeah. That's another good point. Like, I feel like a lot of us will take it easy for a couple of hours in the morning and early afternoon at our campsite. But think about it. You're not really going to do yourself a lot of good by doing that because you're going to be like trying to quote unquote rest when it's going to be crazy hot. It's not really going to put a dent in like your level of energy. But if you were to somehow find the space to take a nap when it gets like late in the afternoon, like in the hour or two around sunset, I feel like that would get you really amped back up and ready to go for a late night, right?
Exactly.
But everybody's body is going to behave differently when it comes to this kind of thing. Right, that's what I was going to say.
You just have to find really what works best for your body.
Yeah. It is funny to have to start thinking about these kind of things again.
Right.
Well, I mean, I am because I'm going to Okie here in like just 3 weeks. And I'm going to go hard because like I figure that they're going to have Tame playing like starting at like 11 o'clock. And there's going to be other fun stuff after that. So this is a way for me to shake the dust off a little bit. I feel like you have a better energy level than I do, though.
No, it's like I said, Bonnaroo is a marathon, not a sprint. And that's, I mean, we hear that phrase all the time, but it's very true.
Yeah. Whew, okay, well, that's good food for thought. We still have, 5 months?
Yeah.
A little less now? 3 weeks if you're going to Okie. But anyways, yes, again, to reiterate, if you are going to Okie, Mitchell and Brooklyn and myself will be there. We will be holding a meetup at around lunchtime, noonish, something like that on Saturday. Once we get there and get a signal, we will figure out when and where. So please keep an eye on our Twitter probably. We will let you know. And I will have a piece of the bus there. The bus is not going to be able to make it down to Okeechobee. I mean, it probably would make it, but I'm not going to because the diesel cost would be insane.
What are you taking from the bus?
I'm going to take the little engine cover from the internal part. We took it to a meetup with the What podcast a couple years ago. And I think I will be able to remove like the battery cover. So an actual like exterior blue chunk of the bus that, is the little door that covers the dual batteries on the inside of it over there. So people can sign that and sign a piece of the bus. And I will bring it home and reattach it and you'll be able to see your signature at Bonnaroo again.
That'd be cool.
But at the very least, I'll have that little cover. So if you want to sign it or if you have a sticker, please bring it, and then I will bring it home and return it to the bus, and you will have added to the bus, just as if you would have at Bonnaroo or whatever. But yeah, I calculated it, and like the bus actually does get fairly good mileage for how big it is. But like even at that, if I drove it down to Sunshine Grove, Florida from Huntsville, Alabama, 1,500 miles round trip, it would have cost roughly about $2,000.
Oh God.
And I'm just not. And the other thing is, like, it tops out about 55. So, like, going all the way down those interstates amongst all the Florida men, no, I'm good. Didn't you see one just like our bus, almost just like it, down in the Keys one time?
I saw a bus almost identical to our bus in the Florida Keys.
Can you post a picture on Twitter this week so people can see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, we'll just make a little note. We talked about it on the podcast. Did you wave at them or anything?
Well, I was going to get out and talk to them and say, oh my God, you won't believe this. I have this exact same bus. But it was like during the pandemic, and I didn't want to be like,
Yeah, true. Well, I would love to meet those people. Maybe we can track them out.
Well, I put it out on Instagram or whatever, and I was like, please, if anybody knows these people, please tag them. But I've never found them, so.
Maybe one day we will. I mean, that's too coincidental for us not to connect in some way.
I mean, it was the same color, and it had paintings all over it.
Kind of like hippie bus paintings. It was blue. That was wild,
Yes.
man. Yeah. Post that photo this week so people can
will.
see after we publish this podcast. Well, Charlotte, happy Valentine's Day. I am so thankful for you that this is one of the cool things that we can do together. I feel like this was one of the reasons that we started the podcast, just so we can have another husband and wife project to tackle. So it is appropriate that we are doing this, just me and you, this week.
Yes, it's been awesome.
Yes. I love you, babe. You had a good Valentine's?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Everybody, whether you are single or attached, you are still loved. So happy Singles Awareness Day to those that celebrate. And you're loved in any case, seriously.
My love for you stretches miles down Highway 24.
Oh, yeah, we published those cards again. My favorite one is still like, I love you.
I-24.
Oh, yeah. My favorite is still like, I love you like Kanye loves Kanye. Like, where the press at, yeah.
I'm going to pat you down harder than security.
Ooh.
Oh, no. What was the other one?
I had the squarch.
Oh, yeah, don't be a square.
That's a little less relevance now that we know that we're actually getting an arch again, but yeah.
I'm gonna ride you all the way to Hillsboro.
What? I don't remember that one. Okay, y'all, I'm stopping it there. Y'all get out and radiate positivity. We'll see you next week.
Bye.